Igbo bi Igbo, ekele munu, Igbo bi Igbo, Igbo bi Igbo. Let's talk. Igbo bi Igbo, let us talk. Let us talk. And if you've not followed me yet, this is a good time to follow me. The follow button is over there somewhere. Click that plus sign. Let's get into it. All right, make we bring our first guest up here for today. Make we bring our first guest up here for today and see what happens here. Yesterday I had a feedback, like an echo, but we'll see what happens today. Hopefully I fixed it. We'll see. All right, Alan John, just make sure you're Igbo, by the way, if you're requesting to come up here.
Well done. One day.
Yeah, Galemgi, where are you from?
Abia State.
Abia State. You've been my brother now. All right. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, one day.
All right.
I make it sense.
Guys, make we speak English. My Igbo not too
okay.
strong. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
What I have to add in what you're saying,
yeah,
not fully agreeing.
Absolutely.
30% agreeing. Okay. The Igbo generation is passing through what Black Americans are passing through here, which is a group that has been marginalized and been placed in disadvantage. But where I agree with you is, in the midst of that disadvantage, our people have found a window and we are not playing a good strategy, which is, the strategy that we are not playing is, how do we take the resources that we've been able to find a loophole to acquire back home, so that should we ever run into this situation again, that we are not left empty-handed. If you remember him, during the Biafra War, where our people were sent home empty-handed. So when you see people upset till today, you are seeing a generation that their father was rich before the Biafran War. Then after the Biafran War, they were poor and they were raised in abject poverty.
Okay.
So that pain continued generation over generation. So now, what our people is doing today, like you talk about Nnamdi Kanu, is, let us not dwell in the anger and the pain for a very long time. We have done that for a very long time.
Yep.
And now, the pain and the anger is losing value. Biafra war. 90% of people trying Biafra war did not fight the war.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you've heard what happened to your grandfather, to your father if you were old enough.
Yeah.
The question now is, I went to university. I am working in Lagos. I'm working in abroad. How can I develop my own hometown?
Yeah.
That way, even if worse comes to worse, the Igbo adage that said, that is what we are supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Go to Abuja. Half of Abuja development is Igbo people.
I don't know about that, but let me just ask you, let me just push back a little bit on what you said earlier. You said something about Igbo people are passing through the same thing Black Americans passing through. That is not even remotely even accurate, because Black Americans were enslaved. Do you understand that?
No, not the enslaving part.
So which part are you thinking about?
Marginalization. But after slavery.
But then you cannot but first and foremost, then you have to find a different comparison, because there was slavery, and then there was segregation, and then there was Jim Crow, there was all that good stuff that happened, right? So it's our side. Our side. Nobody enslaved us. Nobody put us in Jim Crow. Nobody drew a red line on us. So it's different. If you feel that way, I need you to rethink it. You're not correct. Like even remotely, even in the comparison, no, they correct remotely. the marginalization talk. How is it that we are marginalized in Igbo land? How is it?
Since after the Biafra War, how many of our people have been chief of defense staff in the army? How many of our people have held a good ministerial position? If not this guy from Benue that was Senate president, how many of our people with core belief that we need help to develop the homeland have been Senate president or speaker?
Okay.
So the problem I will classify in threefold. The first fold is I still believe that we are marginalized.
Yeah, that's your belief. But the facts would say, the facts will tell you differently. When you talk about Senate presidents, I believe Igbo people are impious. Who are impious? What was I impious? Wasn't I impious? I am the Senate president one time.
That was before Mark.
Now we want to start moving the goalposts. But you asked a question. I'm giving giving you a rest. Hear me out.
What I said.
Hear me out.
Okay.
You asked a question. Which Igbo person has held a significant position? And you mentioned Senate president. You mentioned ministerial positions. You mentioned chief of defense staff, right? Ministerial position. I don't know which other ministerial position passed finance minister. I don't know which other position passed central bank governor. I don't know. Alex Ekweme was one time deputy Senate president. You know, so maybe you're letting emotions to becloud you. Our people have held these positions. Aviation minister, we don't hold him like 3 times. If I'm not mistaken, an Igbo man from at least the 5 Igbo states have held that Senate president position, at least from the 5 states. I can do a Google search now and tell you, but maybe you go back and do your search.
Remember what I said. I said our people, we truly believe that homeland needs help.
And I agree with you on that. I'm only pushing back on the, your idea of marginalization. I don't know if you still have that opinion after me telling you what I'm just telling you.
I do.
Okay.
Because
so tell me why.
If like me and you now,
okay,
if you are pushing like you are now, that we have to go beyond the pain and focus on strategy.
Absolutely.
And me, I'm saying, there is no pain already, that nothing happened. Like chief priest, I won't they marry. And they see the way I talk, and they like me and give me job. Do you think that I will ever come and say, that our people ever suffered, and I will still be in that position?
All right. Let me talk about this, right? I one day marry. That is not correct. The Constitution grants that every president must follow something called federal character. The Constitution grants that. Tinubu, even though you can argue, and I will also say the same, that his appointments are very lopsided. It doesn't mean that there are no Igbo men, there are no Hausa men, there are no Fulani men, there are no Akwa Ibom men in his cabinet. Case study is Umahi. Umahi is the labor minister in Tinubu's government. And if anybody knows anything about current politics, Umahi is kind of the poster boy now of this administration because of that coastal road when they build. So in any administration you can think of, even Buhari, where everybody or most people go say he's a bigot and all that good stuff, right? There were Igbo people in his administration. Then you go back to Goodluck Jonathan. Igbo people, Kale Akale. Okonjo-Iweala was the finance minister. Batten Naji was power minister. Who else? A lot of them were over there. A lot of our people were over there.
So let me take the 2 people that you mentioned.
Go ahead.
Which believe that the homeland have to develop.
Okay.
When Batten Naji was a power minister, that power plant now in Aba was when they built it. This is when you have people.
I hear you, but
it
doesn't necessarily make your point. It makes my point even because I'm telling you that these people are Igbo people are in every administration. But it took Bath in Naji to have that sense to bring it back to the homeland. It took him to do that. We've had aviation minister, Kefka, I always forget this guy's name, from Anambra, Chidoka, Osita Chidoka. Did he build one airport in Igbo land? I believe before him, it was Stella Odua. Did she build any airport in Igbo land? So whose fault is it? So again, this is not about Igbos being marginalized, right? I'm talking about how can we move forward from that? Because this mindset of, oh, we are that's what's keeping us stuck. And if you scrutinize it holistically, like me and you, they do now, you go see, say, all these things, they are not really fact. Let us focus on fact. There is no administration that Igbo people are not involved. The problem is these people decide not to bring something back to the homeland. It is not Tinubu's fault. Look at Mark Okoye. Are you familiar with Mark Okoye?
The Anambra youth guy that is eating money.
Whose fault? Is it Tinubu's fault now that he's not using that money for what he's supposed to do? Is it Tinubu's fault? Is it part of the marginalization? That means Mark is marginalizing us. So let us move away from that, right? This is where I come in here. I'm saying let us move away from our history because it's sad, it's hard. The Vietnam War was a very brutal war. Hiroshima was a very brutal war. But guess what? Today, Japan, they pay US for their protection, as in for their protection, sort of. Japan, they pay US, even after they don't fight, finish. So let us move away from that and talk about strategy. That is going to be the essence of this show. But if you have any final thoughts so that we go move forward.
Yes. So I said 3 points.
Okay.
I believe they are putting people that don't have our best of interest in that position.
That is not
because
correct.
It is their we people.
That is not correct.
The second one I will say is that our people that have well to do is not building what is going to generate the next billionaire.
Yeah.
Hotel, as good as an investment it is not a wealth generating investment.
Absolutely.
For the people that is working there.
Absolutely.
Why are the people we have not supporting people like Innocent? I don't know how many governors now that have supported that guy. I think Ochi is one. Soludo in his state, I think supported. I think the Enugu guy has also supported a little bit and buying from him. Why are these governors not pushing this pickup for police contracts? Buy from Innocent. Okay? So we need to build wealth generating investment. Real estate is only for the person that owns the estate.
Absolutely.
Okay? So that's my number 2.
All right.
Then finally is how can we get more people at the table, the right people, not just people, at the table where the policies that impact us are made without us saying we are sitting at home on Monday. Because if we have more people at that table, we can say, how much is coming to us? And how can we make sure through supervision that this money is used judiciously?
Absolutely. But Mr. Allen John, I'm going to let you just give final thoughts in 10 seconds so that we'll go move forward and get the next guest.
So these are my 3, my brother.
Absolutely.
These are my 3.
Absolutely.
These are my 3 that I think will help us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Allen John. I really appreciate you joining. And I think this is your first time joining here as well. So thank you. All right.